live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with Community Kevin Brannon, brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Abel Velasquez II, also known as Michael Davidson. You'll see in the video. Parks, Recreation, and Community Commissioner, City of Oxnard.
So, Abel Velasquez Jr., the second, Kevin Brannon's a junior too, a little guy. Maybe that's why I like to hear his name, because it's like, yeah, we went in together, son. Is our guest today. And we've met a couple of times. He is Parks, Recreation, and Community Service Commissioner for the City of Oxnard. And how old are you?
I'm 19.
19. I remember there's just a little fellow with braces, and your braces are gone now, I noticed, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But he was dressed super sharp where we met, I think, at the first city council meeting or somewhere where we met. But you were like, you look like you were definitely involved in politics, right? You were well polished, but you were young, and so I was kind of intrigued on what it is that you did. And then we met again at the insect festival when I was eating bugs. And that was really good. And then you emailed me, and unfortunately, I was going to do an event with you, and we'll talk about that. They got canceled, and then it got rescheduled. But now I got to go to DC and hang out with politicians, so we had to reschedule after you sent me the flyer. But we were able to say, hey, can I get you in on our podcast? So we got here. But I want you to explain to people what you do, man. Kind of explain that outline. I know you talked to Scotty when I was on the phone with our consultant. Thank you for being patient today. This is our co-host, Barry, as well.
It's
California
nice
Bear.
To meet you, Barry.
This is Barry. You got bears all over the place because, again, we were talking about celebrities, and California is mine. When it comes to the fishing industry, and our state thing is the bear, and the way I'm big and, look like a cub. I like the bear, so that's Barry, and he helps join us. So welcome,
it's also our state logo.
Exactly, 100%. So that's
again.
What do you call that? Symbolic, right? In the California bear.
Yes.
So when you see that, you can know, hey, that's either Community Kev or again the bear with the strength. And I also believe that in this industry that we're in, fishing, outdoor, and hunting, that you take on the strength of the animal that you eat. So if you eat a bear, like you get that grizzly bear strength too. I believe in some of that. I think that's more indigenous, like people of, that believe in the spirit animals and stuff as well.
Yeah, especially when you eat, well, for me personally, I like to eat a lot of fish and meat. So you get a bunch of the protein from it, and then you actually get, from the animals, you get their creatine, and their, I believe you get the amount of, I forgot what it is exactly, but the amount of creatine and the amount of protein that the animal had, you actually get to experience it inside you, and it actually helps you. Like creatine, it actually helps with muscle growth.
Yep.
And I think when it comes naturally from protein and stuff, it actually has like a totally different reaction with your body compared to taking it in a powder form.
He's 100% correct. Look at this, full of knowledge, man. So let's jump back into what you do. Tell us what Parks, Recreation, and Community Service Commissioner does in Oxnard, and then give us some history on what made you want to, get involved in that at such a young age.
Oh man, got to go back years.
Go back.
So it started back, I'm going to start off as a commissioner. So I got appointed in April 15th of 2025 at the age of 18. And so what happened was I've always been involved with the City of Oxnard, whether it was from a volunteer standpoint or an employee standpoint. I've always dedicated myself to a cause greater than self. Mm-hmm. And that's a quote I live by. I got it once and it's always stuck with me. The quote is, by serving a cause greater than self, you can give hope to others, and your own life will gain greater purpose and prosperity.
I can't write that fast, but I'm writing something. Keep going.
And so after that quote, it just kept motivating me to move forward and forward and forward. And no matter what the scenario was or what happened, I'm always there volunteering. So for instance, when my grandfather died I remember it was on Monday and the 24th of April, people thought I wasn't going to volunteer for like that week. They thought I was just, okay, he's going to take a week off. But mysteriously, I showed up the next day. And they said, how are you doing? Your grandfather just died. And I said, I could be grieving right now. I could be at home crying about it. but I think he would have wanted me, and I think he knew that he would have wanted me as well to go pursue what I'm doing, because it's greater than self. I'm helping others in a way that's symbolic to me as a person who's grown up in a community who's dedicated to it. And so, thank you. I actually need this right now.
That's good, man. That whole, like, because I'm a nonprofit, right? And, you know, as a believer too. So we do a lot, like servant leadership is a lot that we teach. And then when you're committed, and I won't go too long because I want you to get your stories in. But I remember when I had to call him to tell him that I couldn't do his event. Like, right? How many times I apologize? Once you commit, right? You don't want to let somebody down. And it sounds like that's exactly how you are, man, and understanding like to break a commitment.
Yeah, it hurts. It's the worst feeling
you forgive me though, right? You promise?
I
swear?
promise. Pinky swear.
I owe you.
Hey, you're making big moves at Washington.
I'm representing the Adel Nickel out there though, right? I'm bringing it with us.
He's the only one doing it right now.
Thank you, man.
So I appreciate it, and I told you on the
Thanks,
phone.
Man, that made me smile.
I told you on the phone. I was like, hey, it's for a greater cause, you know. I mean,
but you know, when you make a commitment first to you know what I mean? Like, not want to double book, but so you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be they're bigger than, you know, this is big out there. So I really wanted to get, you know, to lay that out to you. With the you know, not just you know what I mean, like
I understand it. And the one thing that I've learned, I mean, it's hard at times, but life's unexpected, you know. Just one day you could be laughing with friends, and then the other day, I hate to say it like this, you all could be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that the hard way with a couple of friends of mine where we would all laugh together, and then I tried to reconnect, and I heard one of them's dead, and another one's going through a health crisis, and it's sad how life could take a toll and a twist on people. But I think it's part of understanding and learning and growing that we have to accept that this is Earth, this is the world we live in.
And also, I think by doing it that way, and then get back to your story about, you know, so I'll take you down a rabbit hole and not get back to your, you know, give us your how you got started here. But I like that same thing, man, and I think that's what helps me, and I wrote it. So what we do, we don't really script this, right? I'll just take notes and then we'll come back to it. But living life, man, and that's what I'll tell people on our podcast, is because you never know what is for certain, right? So you should try to enjoy your life doing those things that you love, because you never know when well, you know it's gonna end, right? And you don't want to look at it from a pessimistic side, but that makes you at least enjoy daily, right? And do the things that you really are passionate about and want to do, and that's what we like to promote here, because you never know, right? So
yeah, and
live your life,
especially with the Real Guppy outdoors and stuff. You know, you go outside, you go you go enjoy nature, you go catch fish, memories, exactly. I mean, those are memories no one could take from you.
Yeah.
And it's something that I wish I knew about when I was younger, because
we're about to recruit you as a board member as soon as you're done with this podcast. but go ahead. So where were you at about, again, you hit your commitment again? I don't want to start interjecting and then.
So something that okay, we're gonna go back to the commitment part. Yeah. So when it comes to commitments, I mean, I understand when people make commitments but they can't keep it, because there's certain ways and certain positions that they are in where they can't really keep a commitment, you know. It's like if somebody dies or something important comes up, then that's totally understandable and respectable, because life, like I said, it's uncertain.
But you said you didn't do that though. Like your grandpa passed away, and you still showed up to do some work that you had already committed to, right?
Yes, I did that because I felt like it was, and for me, I think helping people is something that's fundamental to my character.
And how old were you then? 18?
Back then I was.
What you said?
No, I was 16.
16, okay.
16 at the time. So it for me, that was a hard time, because I was supposed to graduate the next year and he was supposed to be there, but like I said, life surprises you. Life takes.
Do you think some of that, when you do it for them, like even though they're not there, because I always have this thing that I say when I'm like training people at the gym or I'm lifting weights, and I clap, it's like, make grandma proud. Do you think some of it, the work that you do, is to continue to make, you know, even though your grandfather's not here, that you know that they're still proud, you know, of the work that you're doing and your commitment, that it's being passed on, you know?
I know that I'm making him proud of, because one thing about him that a lot of people don't know, but he wasn't really big on talking about it, but he loved the American dream. I mean, he grew up in Chino, California with his brothers and with his dad. His mom died when he was only 3 years old. And he moved to California. He moved to Oxnard specifically, I meant. And he lived in a tent. He only had one pair of underwears, one pair of pants, one pair of shorts, and they had holes on them when he was growing up. And so him and his brothers and his dad lived in a tent for years. And he decided to join the United States Army, and he was there for a while in the 50s, 40s and 50s. He got involved, and then he came back. He got a job. He got a house, and he proposed to my grandma in the year 1963, I believe, and they got married. And so one thing that my grandma would say is he was the perfect man, because even though the way he grew up, he always found ways to spoil her. So every time he would pick her up from school, he would always have chocolates in the car for her, or
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart,
Take
exactly.
Sweetheart notes, fellas.
And so the best part about it, the funniest part in my opinion, is the day my grandma graduated was the day he proposed to her. And so my great grandparents from my grandma's side, I could imagine how in shock they were, like, wait, what? Because so she graduated. I guess they hugged, and then they celebrated. And right as soon as that she met with her parents, then he proposed. And so they got married that year, and it was actually, the anniversary's coming up. And so this would have been around 65 years now. But it was a good, it's a good story to hear, because I know if he made it that far, then I know that I could make it that far. And I know I'm making him proud by keeping the family positive and going forward.
That's awesome, man.
And so he's a big role model to me. And
role models are important, man. You do a lot of role models and mentoring here. The important part. Again, you could see it in your demeanor, man. You could see it again in the way you conduct yourself. You're a force. And so let's talk about how what the commissioner does, and they got you into that aspect, because again, to have that much carry that much weight or responsibility at your age and determination, that's kind of unusual. But I've seen it in kids, like, growing up that way. That's kind of a little bit of my story of why, I had 2 pairs of socks, living on my friend's couch. We were living in motels, and I was like, there gotta be more for me out here to do than that, man. And again, that's what it helps drive me, right? To be such a go-getter when I was a young man. And that's why I think I respect you at the level, because I could see that from you in just the few times we've engaged or watching you on social media. That is you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think too, when it comes to people my age, it's hard for them to unlock the power for them to be motivated and driven. Not because they can't, but because the way that some people are raised, or some people are.
But 18 though, that's what I mean. I don't want to say a lot of weight, but at 18, that's you're choosing to take on this work, where I think 18-year-olds shouldn't necessarily have you should be enjoying your teenage years as well too, right? You should still be enjoying some adolescence.
Yes. Some of the other people in city government actually told me, like, what are you doing at 18? You should be partying or something.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not so much like a shade on them. It's just that those are some times because I'm on Team Kid, meaning that I promote, like, if that's a word kid, like, we were all went through adolescence and a kid age. So what you decide to do at an early age is just different, versus, like, oh, kids should go and get a job. Like, no, you have the rest of your life to have a job. If you want some money in your pocket to go spend some leisure money because you like to shop at the mall, I couldn't know so much allowance you're going to get from me. So if you want more extravagance in your life, then you should probably get a job. Should kids have jobs? Right. If it was in another country, like, oh, child labor, these kids are working. It's like, so where do we draw the line? So I think there's a grace period of allowing youngsters to not do much, but waste time, right? Because when you get to an adultism, you got plenty of those days. But again, you're that's what I'm saying. You're like, that's what I meant more, the aspect of at your age, without knocking them. It's just like at 18, there's not,
But what I was saying was, because a lot of families that I know of, a lot of my friends, that they have families who do not want them to pursue what they want to pursue.
100%.
Because they're afraid of it.
Right.
They're afraid of the outcomes.
And how old are you again? Just say it one more time.
19. I'm 19 years old.
And the reason why, so when we do talk about this, you're hearing it from that age group. And when we promote here, and don't hold that thought, jumping in. But I like that because we're always like, why don't, at the Guppies, what would you love to do? Because your parents could put you on a fear side, like, oh no, this is a safe way to go, right? And it kind of sounds like you're talking about that, right? Like, but
Yes.
Dad, I want to do this. But yeah, well, no, there's a fear part that's preventing you and say, go the safe route. Sounds like you're saying that part.
Yes.
To not let them pursue exactly what they want.
Yeah, and it sucks because, I mean, there's a good chance that if they pursue what they want, 100% of the chances you don't take, you fail.
Uh-huh.
And as mean as that sounds, that's the reality that we live in. And for myself, my parents were kind of wondering about it. They're like, you want to do this as a commissioner, but we want you to know that whether it's easy or hard, go in there and go get it.
So parents, if you're at home listening, don't be blocking your kids' shots, right? Because you said, or I use the term cutting their wings. There's this, we have this in our marketing material. There's parents standing there with a kid with like wings, like a butterfly or a bird, and the parents are standing next to them with these big old, scissors that you would use to like cut a ribbon, like a ribbon cutting, and they're ready to cut this individual's wings because he's ready to soar, and that happens. And sometimes it's not always in it. They might not view it from their standpoint as a negative. Like, one day you'll understand if we do it this way. But that's good. So I think what you're saying with my way, yeah, you said 100% of the shots you don't take, you don't make. But sometimes you go to make a shot and somebody swats the ball out, and then you quit shooting because you're like, yeah, they're just going to swat it out, and then you kind of kill their momentum.
And that's something that I learned about life is the first time I actually tried to become a commissioner was on my 18th birthday. As soon as I clock struck to midnight, I did my paperwork, and then I turned it in, and then, man, probably city clerk hated me for doing that late. She probably got the email, but I was denied.
I would look at that and be like, that's ambition, right? That's some real serious. That's a effort. That's attempt. But go ahead.
And then to me, that was something that I wanted to pursue. I started emailing council members like, hey, I would love this opportunity if you could help me out. None of them replied, or they just said, oh, no, I'm sorry. And then and I was sad about it for a while, but then I was like, you know what? If this isn't meant for me, it's not meant for me. But if it is, eventually it's going to come to me. And so I started doing my own podcast called Abel's War Room, where we would interview political candidates running for office. And then I got to meet a bunch of people and got to connect with them. And so during the 2024 election, I would help other candidates and talk with candidates. And then one of them asked me, it's like, hey, what do you want to do after this? I said, I don't know, maybe I'll reapply to become a commissioner. And so after the election, I filled in my paperwork, and a council member called me. And he said, well, I saw that you applied to become a commissioner, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to keep you in mind. And
so in that, two things. And then we're going to get to what a commissioner is. I want people to know. He saturated himself in what he wanted to do. And we tell this to youngsters too, right? Like, go help out. If this is what you're interested in, let's say you want to be a cook. Go hang out in a kitchen. There's a term that the book Richest Man in Babylon talks about is an old tongue likes to wag. So by saturating yourself in there, people are going to start giving you game. Hey, this kid's showing up. Here's some tips. Here's some ideas, right? To kind of keep that going. So to saturate yourself. When I quit working, I was able to saturate myself in the fishing industry. I worked on a boat, I worked in here, and I worked at the tackle shop. But I was so immersed in just fishing, right? And then you start getting those leads. And people see you by your demonstration and say, yeah, you could just stand out. And that's the other term is you're doing it by just your demonstration, man, that people want to, okay, let me help you get to that next level. And that's important. But if you don't, if you're listening at home and you're not getting those repetitions and are willing to give up that time, or you lost again, your first attempt wasn't, you took that shot, it hit the rim. You kept shooting, but you stayed in the gym, basically. Again, using my metaphor for that.
It's like I didn't hit my PR the first time. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm working on lower weight, but more reps, and then I'm going up weight, and I'm going up weight, and then I'm gonna eventually.
But not only that, you sound like your people around you are helping you. You have a trainer and a coach that are helping you too, right? There's these other forms that could help you to hit that PR. You're not in there just by yourself trying to max out. You got a spotter just in case you do get stuck, right? So you do have this, by immersing yourself in that, as you're protecting your PR, you have people, hey, bro, let me show you a little technique. Let me, work on this, or maybe need to rest or something. Or here's that creatine, right, that can help rebuild that muscle.
Yeah.
So again, that's the important part of the emerging with those people. And then you ended up meeting somebody that said they're going to keep you in mind, right?
Yes, and so what happened was he kept me in mind, and then I did call other council members, and I said, hey, would you be able to appoint me, or would you be able to help me out with this? And they said, no, I can't. So I recalled the other one, and I said, well, I would appreciate it if you appoint me. He said, okay, give me a sales pitch why I should appoint you. And I kind of zoned out. I kind of froze. I was like, oh, shit. And so we were on the phone for about 30 minutes, and I was telling him on my part what I would do and my experiences in the city.
Do you remember any of that?
Oh, man, I was like the
We didn't have 30 minutes, but is there like anything like
So he was asking me, he's like, okay, what would you do as a commissioner? Tell me the exact rule. I said, okay, a commissioner makes recommendations to city council, but they first bring it up to the recommendations to the city commission. The city commission for specific different branches have different titles and different duties. My duties would be under the Parks, Recreation, Community Services. So if I have a question or something that I want to get done, I would make a recommendation, send it to the secretary and the chairwoman. Mm-hmm. She would then put it on the agenda, and then we would vote on it. If it passes, it would get sent to the city manager. City manager reviews it. After city manager, it gets sent to the city council, and they get to vote on it. So that's a little bit of what we did. And of course, my other duties would be to.
So he liked your pitch though, and went ahead and.
He liked my pitch. I just say it like that. That's like a 40-minute, 30-minute less longer pitch than that. But he asked me about my experiences, and I told him I've worked for the City of Oxnard for, worked and volunteered together for around 7 years. I have over 3,000 hours of community service time.
Reps.
I've worked on oversight committees for schools. I have an experience with
And this is in your 18?
18, yes.
Wow, hear that? I mean, you started when you were like 13.
I have,
14 years old.
Yeah, so it's a lot. And then I was telling them too, because I
remember when you're big and celebrity. Remember us too, okay? Because you're going places, kid.
Hey, I'm the one who actually take a photo with you.
Yeah, but I get it. But you're dominating right now. So I can imagine if you did that in your first through adolescence, man, the kind of impact and powerhouse you're going to be in when you're 30, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to being older.
But enjoy the youth. But that's again, the way you're swinging right now, bro. That's pretty impressive, man.
Thank you. It's something that I didn't see myself doing. And keep in mind, this is a year after high school, so a lot of my friends are calling me Meanie Mayor, and I was like, okay, dude, like that's funny, but like stop. And now they're calling me by my position, Mr. Commissioner. I'm like, okay, dude. And then at the gym they call me Commissioner Sexy.
You know why you don't? But you know why you don't though? Because you're a servant. So these titles, I get these titles, right? You're a hero, right? And blah blah blah. And I love it, and I'm sure you enjoy it some, right? But
yes.
you're able, and you're just a servant. So sometimes when they approach you, which is cool, because again, they say you're like, what's that? Is that omnipresent when they know who you are? No, it's God is like omnipresent. Is it that?
Omnipresent works, yeah.
There's a word when synonymous, bro. Like you're synonymous for what you do, which is it's a compliment. But our friends, they joke with it, but that's not like it's a real compliment, that they see you like that, right?
Yeah.
They ain't calling you phony baloney. They ain't calling you wannabe, right? So there's
but it's all about them joking around, and but when it comes to people that I've never met,
what's your nickname? Is there one?
No, Michael Davidson. People at Starbucks know me as Michael Davidson. I don't even go to Starbucks.
Did they ask if you're related to Harley Davidson?
They have not.
Oh, okay.
They have not. But people at Starbucks, they know me as Michael Davidson. So anytime I go in there, I remember I was with one of my friends, and they're like, "Whatever happened to that BS nickname you had?" And I said, "Let's go to Starbucks and see what happens." Hey, Michael, how are you?
Yeah.
And then so that nickname still stands. But when it comes to the commissioner position, there's nothing more. I would say, I don't know if to use the word humbling, but going to an event or showing up to support a friend or just walking down Plaza Park, and somebody coming up to me. This actually happened twice in the last week. Somebody went up to me and said, "I saw your videos. I know what you're doing, and I just want to say thank you for bringing light to some problems no one else has brought light to." and I appreciate you. And keep in mind that this kid is in high school, going up to me telling me that.
So you're setting an example, man. You know, you're planting little seeds that that somebody's gonna, you know, that you're making an impression on people that, you know, you get a chance to bump into a couple of them and tell you that, but there's probably so many that you don't get to bump into that you're definitely planting some righteousness or some seeds of that in another 15, 16, 17-year-old man that, you know, that you're laying a foundation and showcasing them. You know?
And it's not
not for that reason.
It's not for that reason, exactly.
But again, you make it look possible, you know, to other teenagers, man.
Yeah, and I think for me, I had a little bit harder than others because I still have OCD, and so OCD is, in my opinion, one of the worst. I wouldn't call it. I would say disabilities you could have, because what it is if you don't move this water bottle a certain amount of times, your family's gonna die in a car, and they're intrusive thoughts, and so that's something that I've been struggling with my whole life. And one of the issues that I've had was that and not being able to comprehend what other people my age might find fun, because while other kids were having fun, I was there repeating. They're called rituals. So you would walk back and forth a certain amount of times through a door until you felt comfortable, and that's something that kept me strong-minded. Was I'm stronger than this. I could move forward, and I believe that there's another worldly being helped me out. I'm really religious when it comes to stuff, and so I had an enlightenment where I believe it's Jesus, in my opinion, but it's
might be the neighbors,
but it helped me out. It helped me out through a long time, and so I want people to know that.
Tell me again.
I want people to know that if you're struggling, Jesus is there for you. Woo! And so he's if it wasn't for him, if I never found Christ, then I don't know where I would be right now.
Me either, bro. Me either.
The day I got appointed, I have two things I always carry with me. Unfortunately, I don't have it right now because I left it at my house, surprisingly. But anytime I go out to an event or anytime I go speak, I always have my mini Bible with me. It's for protection, and it gives me comfort. And people could say, well, maybe it's just
that?
I downloaded the Bible app.
Yeah, so I got. So you got it with you.
So people say, oh, it's just sentimental to you. I said, no, it's my protection. And so, even when I was an explorer,
some people walk around with little animals that protect them, right? Their little service animal. I prefer, again, to each their own, but nobody says nothing when you got a big old, 100-pound dog that's your service animal, right? You're like, oh, that's no. So if your service, thing is your Bible, then that's probably the best.
Yeah, and my Bible's it's been with me everywhere. I mean, I was an explorer, so anytime I would do a DUI checkpoint, I would pray before I leave the house.
I was an explorer. It sounds like a Guppy Ranger material right here.
Technically, explorers are under the Boy Scouts. So of course I would bring my Bible with me to any explorer event I would do. So DUI checkpoints, I would do that because I do believe that people could bring negativity towards you, and I believe that there's fights, not in this world, but spiritual.
So
spiritual
without us going that far down, because we only got a few more minutes left.
Yes,
sorry. And I want to get into some of the more the duties and of your of being a commissioner, but it's not against human beings that we're fighting against, right? It's the spirits that are fighting, honestly. So you don't get mad at people. It's the spiritual realm. We just talked about this. We just got finished this class at New Life. What you're saying is correct, right? It's not against flesh, the people. There's other spirits, warfare. They're happening. So when you have that enlightening, like you said, that's when I grabbed my daughter's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel enlightened. Because but that was some of the last thing that we studied on Monday was, that's why we're putting on the shield every day, the armor, because you're going to come into battles.
And that's what somebody told me, because they were going through a hard time and they were praying, but they said you can't go into war without armor. You can't fight a spiritual battle without the armor of God.
100%.
And after I heard that just oh man.
And again, and sometimes it's not always wars the war could be with you. War could be in your mind. It's not, tanks and militant war, right? But you do, you have to have armor. But these wars that we're talking about are more some of the battles that each individual face, going in a battle, depression or these, anxieties
Temptation.
or temptation, fear, right? Those battles that we face, so yeah, I'm with it. All right. Praise God for
Amen.
that. So park and recreation, what kind of projects are you working on right now? Or is there anything that you started that you see going, or you have anything coming down the pipe? Because
Yes.
we're in recreation and community services, so we definitely got to figure out how we could serve the community together,
Yes, definitely, and that's one of the
But
reasons
let's
why
talk about
I
what you
reached
do, right?
out to you in the
parks,
first time.
yeah,
Yes.
parks and recs. Like, what do you have going on?
So, right now, more specifically, I'm working with the parks area because there's a park called Colonial Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's near my house, and I'm really big about it. So some of the issues that I want to do is add a new restroom because the restroom they have it's ran down.
Is that the one by Cesar Chavez School right there?
Yes. So one of my first duties as a commissioner, I told the Eastside Little League, which is a baseball little league. I told them as soon as I get appointed, what I want to do is I want to meet with your executive board and I want to meet with the board of the neighborhood council. There was no neighborhood council at that time, so I only met with the executive board of the little league, and they said, well, the men's restroom doesn't have a soap dispenser. The female's restroom doesn't have feminine products. We never have, what is it called? We never have toilet paper. Toiletries. And so I said, let me see what I could do about it. 2 weeks later, they had soap dispensers, feminine products, toiletries.
So just keep that there. So how do you go about that? Do you go to the council and those are your requests? And what is your chain of command for this to happen? Like, where do you take that? From when you meet with them and you walk into where to get that accomplished?
So what I would do is I would email a director of a department or assistant director. I would say, hey, we have this issue going on. If you could help us out, then we go meet about it either in person or we contact through email. And then we get probably 1 or 2 council members and the chairwoman involved, and we talk about this. Like, well, what can we do about it right now? And so we came into an agreement. Like, this is a necessity, and we need to get this there. Because it's no fair that kids who are playing baseball don't have soap. Because one thing about me too is I was a big germaphobe, and I know that if somebody uses the restroom and they need to wash their hands,
no, they should wash their hands. If you use the restroom, you should wash your hands. But go ahead.
You should wash your hands. My bad for saying that wrong. But yes, it's please wash your hands. That's disgusting if you don't. But even if it's number one.
I think this dude come out the other day straight out of the restroom. And from the toilet, and walk right out. And I was watching my thinking, that dude didn't wash his hands. Like, you really noticed, like, bro, you just walked straight from the pooper. Had to find a colorful word to use, right? And straight out that door. You're out there shaking people's hands. I know. Wash your hands, folks. Go ahead.
Wash your hands. But yes, so I was extremely happy when we got our soap dispenser. And the people were like, why are you so happy about that? I said, because this is the first thing I've done as a commissioner is add a soap dispenser. And even though it's like a $5-6 soap dispenser, that's something that I was really proud of adding to the restaurant.
So small things that count, man. Achievement, right? You get momentum. That's a simple request. Why shouldn't you have them? So victories, again, we talked about battles, right? That's a victory. You know what I'm saying? It's not really, maybe it wasn't such a battle, but you know something you're...
Oh, yeah, it was a battle 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, because so some of the mentalities of some of the city people is, if it's going to get stolen, it's not even worth putting up. So I have to go against that.
So if you go to another, we're going to get in trouble on this one. If you go to other parts of Oxnard, because we know, Colonia, it's a little bit rougher neighborhood, right? So are you saying people there would steal them? If you were to go to another park in Oxnard where they have them, right?
That's the city people to say. I personally.
But I mean, if you go to them, right? Like, what makes you think it would get stolen from that bathroom versus stolen from the bathroom over here on Hollywood Beach?
That's double standards. That's a double standards way of running stuff. And one thing that I'm trying to do right now is change that, because I'm working with the neighborhood council chair. Mm-hmm. Thank God they have one now. And we've talked a little bit.
Did you help with that too? With the neighborhood, so they had a council chair. Was that there?
I did not help with that, but they did form and they did contact me. They said, hey, we would like to have you in our next meeting. And so after the meeting, it went pretty well. And then the chairman was like, well, we have some problems going on at the alleyways, and there's some potholes and stuff, and there's a bunch of stuff going on in the community. And I said, okay, I wanted to tour it. And they said, when are you available to tour? I looked at my clock. I had a meeting like in 3 hours. I said, I have now. And so we toured it for about 2 hours. And he said, well, there's giant potholes that have been here for years. Former council members said they were going to fix it, never did. And there's rundown parts of it that need to be fixed, and people putting cards everywhere that shouldn't be there. And I said, okay. And I said, I'll figure out ways to fix the potholes.
Yeah, they're going to start nominating you for mayor. Yeah,
and so the next day, I contacted the director of the department who's in charge of that, which is Public Works. And I said, hey, I would like to meet with you because these potholes incidents. And so we met the next day, and then we talked about it. I said, this is unfair that this neighborhood hasn't had this done. And they said, well, we're going to be revamping the alley soon. But if you want to work on it right now, I said, let's work on it now so we can prevent any future incidents. And he sent me a photo of the redone alleys, and I sent it to the council, and I sent it to people in the neighborhood council as well. And I showed my council member. I said, what took a council member in 2024 took a commissioner in 2026, and the neighborhood was all happy about it. And of course, we talked about the 2% that aren't happy. They said, oh, it took you this long. You should have. And I told him, dude, I've only been in the position for like 6 months. Like chill, dude. And so a lot of people were happy about it. And then,
what's gonna be your slogan? Like mine's gonna be vote community Kev. If I think about running for commissioner, for harbor commissioner one day, it's gonna say vote fish for commish.
There you go.
Community Kev, your next Port of Hueneme harbor commissioner. So we got to figure out a way.
We got
anything's able. Anything's able. Vote Abel Velasquez II for your next city council member and mayor.
My actual logo right now, or my slogan, I haven't used it much lately, but usually I use my slogan, I'm willing and able.
Okay, but we got something going.
Anything's able to. I like that one.
Right.
Anything's able to. There you go, because I'm two. I'm the second.
Right, there you go.
Hey, you heard it here first. Real Angler Radio exclusive. We helping them out, man. Well, yeah, do you see any, again, when it comes to recreational parks, and I used to watch the Channel 10. I'm a fourth generation Port Hueneme kid, right?
Oh, wow.
And so you have South Oxnard and and East Side Oxnard North. And I know that sometimes those things, again, without getting into the weeds here, sometimes you feel like certain sections of these certain areas don't get the same spotlight, right?
Yeah,
where people
they
are
don't get
walking
the
in,
love that they should.
right? And then you have people that come in there and you see them on Channel 10 being like, when are you guys going to do this, right? And I remember that topic being like, you guys are going to come through here and look at our alleys and look at what's being done, you know, when you fix certain other roads and not these ones. So that's not a new topic, man. That's been in that area for a minute. And that's why some of the work that we do, you know, especially in these little pockets of the Nard that seem like we don't have as many resources, or, you know, that's how they look at it. You know, we just redid our park in Port Hueneme from years, you know, and that took a minute for them to redevelop it and get
Bubbling Springs, right?
Yeah, to get that going, you know, and getting the lights up there and trying to bring it to modern day. Because you hear so many times where people talk about kids in these communities when they run, and I'm not taking shots at really anybody, but then, you know, part of your slogan and part of your campaign, we should go back and look to see what was accomplished while it was on your watch, you know, because those are the things that you utilize to help get you voted in, and then to go back to not, you know, chip away one or two of those items once you're elected, like you did, right? I like to know, you know, where's the accountability sometimes, because if it looks like that, or a district looks like that for 10 or 15 years, it's like, it just looks like it's neglected, you know?
Yeah, and it's like...
So, but if you're using it to help you get your momentum to get in there, and then you didn't do anything to stop the neglect, like, it's interesting. Let's we should check that out, right?
Yeah, and for me...
And why 10%? Now you're gonna go, why does it look like that for 10 or 15 years? Why was there a gate around where what used to be Foster Freeze on Perkins and C Street for 10 years, right next to the car wash right there, right? Like, you really got this there. And then there was one where that gas station used to be at, across the street from the Swin Shop, where the Sierras used to be, and before it was a Safeway when I went to Haycock's as a kid. So I go on and on about how these things don't look like anybody's touching them, you know?
Yeah, and it makes, and not only that, in my opinion too, it makes the city look bad,
right?
Because they're not maintaining it, and they're not doing a good job of helping businesses.
And that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna get heat for this interview.
Yeah, we are.
It's like take a look at
the
sports parks.
temperatures are rising.
You know it's fine. I get like 30 emails of hate emails. It's fine. I survive.
But here's the part you can't get mad at. If you're trying to find solutions, how do they get mad at you? Right? It's like, hey, what do you right? But it's like, you're fulfilling what you said you would do. You should get praise.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about me that I people hate about me, but
We
I
got 5
do.
minutes. We got 5 minutes.
Is I make sure everybody takes accountability for their actions.
That part.
And take a look at Sports Park. 20 years ago, people were promised, never done. And we had funding for the project. Where did it go? We do not know. Where did we went to other stuff. We were promised a fire station across I forgot the name of the area, was never built. So a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna sing another song. Promises, promises. It got me singing in here. Temperatures are rising. We might get to some praise music here before we close out the show, right?
We should.
The Victory. That's the one I've been listening to. And Victory.
What's the name of that one song? It's in my head.
The battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see your victory. I'm gonna see your victory. 'Cause the battle belongs. You don't go into battle without your weapon in your armor. All right, man. All right, armor Abel. I was gonna say, let's armor Abel to make these moves, right? Barry, he believes in you. Hold on, we got another coastal critter in here. Our octopus, Ochoa, he believes in you, right?
Yes.
Man, dude, you're so on fire. I'm sorry I'm going to miss your event that's coming up. We definitely got to get some work together. It's incredible at 18 years old. So, again, let's check. Any other things that you see coming down the pipeline that you're working on, or anything you want to see that's not going in that you're trying to start or pioneer?
Well, actually, I did start this youth organization called ARMA. So it was built by ARMA. Is short for Abel, Rico, Mario, and Adriel.
Huh?
Very, very great name. I didn't come up with it. My friend was like, so what do we call ourselves? ARMA. And that stuck. But we started doing toy drives for the community and senior drives. And we took a break because school and stuff. But we're officially coming back, so we would love to team up with you to help kids out. Right now we're working on our first event at Colonia Park with the Little League to make sure they get Easter. So,
you work with Jose Madrigal?
Jose Madrigal.
I went to school with him. I know he was in there doing Easter back. We gave him some stuff one year. We grew up in elementary school.
It doesn't sound
I know another guy
familiar.
named Angel, his kid goes there. But anyway, I know that they've been, again, working in that part. I'd love to help out, man. Whatever we could help. We're Community Kev and our team, wherever we could. Again, that's what part of what we're doing at Community Service, man, is continuing to collaborate, especially when you're limited resources. So if you have a limited, I have a limited, they have a limited, and all of a sudden you have a lot more resources that we could put together, you know?
Together, then we technically have unlimited because we got minds, we got people who are productive.
And some people have different things that we could bring that the other one might not be in strength in that area that this other org has, so it helps balance, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And then right now, I mean, the projects that we're planning, I'm one of those who say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I wake up that morning and I'm gonna do it. It's
Let Derek in?
It's something that I've always been passionate about. It's getting stuff done overnight.
Getting stuff done.
Overnight.
That's what we do. You count on Community Kev to get it done. And that's the truth, man. Well, I'm a junior. We're going to wrap this up. It's about 12. I got to go finish up. I got to get ready to go to Carpenter Middle School and meet Kevin Jr. Derek's going to take over. Abel Velasquez II, or Jr. Michael what? Michael Davidson. So you remember because you're related to Harley Davidson.
Yes.
Is his alias. We're going to say Willing and Abel. Is that it?
Willing and able.
Oh, Willing and Abel. Abel Velasquez. City Council coming up soon. But in the meantime, man, look, you're killing it. Make sure you don't go all in. Enjoy being 19 too. Adulting is fun, but try to get that where you're going to be because you're going to be in the trenches. It sounds like for a while, which is great. And I know when it's not easy to say that because when you love what you do and you do what you love, it doesn't feel like you're overworked, right? It's like feels like it's your duty. It's your
lately it's been different.
Okay. Well, again, at least you're listening to that, right? Like listen to that part. Save the world in sections, right? I mean, sometimes we want to save the world right now, but if you're moving those along, that's again a little bit of advice. So at the end of our podcast, we always have somebody leave a little bit of word of advice. Give the people at home, something something you live by, your creed, or just a little bit of encouragement or something.
I did mention in the beginning, but by serving a cause greater than self, you can give hope to others, and your own life will gain greater purpose and prosperity. And remember, do not work so fast to get your goals quick. You got to take time for the book to be written.
Repetitions. All right. Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
We got each other's information, but we definitely need to collab on the ASAP tip. All right.
All right, sounds good.
I'm gonna go out to DC and plant a flag.
It's gonna represent
for the
us.
turf. Right. I am. That's why I got to go out there. Ooh, speaking of which, I got to pay. We're gonna stay in a bootleg motel. We ain't staying in the one that the conference is. That's like $400 a night. But we got one next door for like $200, and then I just got an email. I got to pay for the event's like $450 for ASA members, and then our flight should be like $500 or $600. So about a $1,500 trip, but I got to pay a couple things. But that is an investment, people. We talk about spending versus investing. We're investing in our company. We're investing in our growth. We're going to Capitol Hill. We're going. You know what I mean? We belong with the big dogs. How many see these elbows? They need to be rubbed up in there, right? So I could open up the door for guys like Abel and the next generation too, man. So again, prosperity, man. Yeah, by a cause bigger than yourself. That's why we started Real Guppy Outdoors, to help out in our community, and look what we've been blessed with and provided with to be able to give back and prosper. So, all right, Barry, you know what? You got to here. This is my granddaughter's. We got octopuses everywhere. I don't even got a name for her yet. This is her travel octopus. And Barry, get us out of here. Let's go.
Today's guest, Abel Velasquez II, Parks, Recreation, and Community Commissioner, City of Oxnard. To learn more about Real Guppy Outdoors, please visit www.communitykevin.com. Brought to you by AftCo, Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.